So I just invite you to be aware, pay attention to your breath, and just enter into a centering meditative space as we wait a minute or two to let other people come into the room.
Alan?
Hello?
Yeah, this is Jossie.
Oh, hi, Jossie. We're just taking a little time to be silent and meditate while we're waiting for people to come in. That's
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we'll just kind of mute everybody to so that breathing sounds are. Oh, here I am. Now I'm unmuted. I'm going to light a candle, and I want to have an intention to help us remember and clarify and deepen our intentions. And as you know, if you've been here before, I've encouraged everybody to continue to work on clarifying two aspects of intentionality in your life. One being, what is it of what's going on in this world? All the multiple issues and domains and aspects of this reality on earth that it's your intention to work on to make a little bit better as best you can. It could be more than one thing, but often it's good to have like a primary intention when it comes to what is your work in the world that you want to put your attention on, because that's what intention allows us to do. It allows us to focus our attention. And that is what helps us take the actions that we need, be aware of the things we need, and so forth. The other intentionality is inward, in a sense, and that is, what is it about yourself that you're seeking to cultivate as a quality of consciousness or a quality of your mind, a quality of your heart? What is it that you're seeking to embody at this time? Which could mean two things in this aspect. And that is, what does it mean in terms of what it is you're trying to let go of or wanting to let go of? What is it you're trying to release as a tendency or a habit or a way of reacting and responding in the world that you find troubling? It's not helpful to you or to the world. And what is it that you're seeking to embody, that you're seeking to bring in? And so I'm lighting this candle, and I'm going to encourage you to join me and in meditation with the intention to clarify and strengthen these intentions, which are the focus of this webinar, this gathering, this coming together. And I have a little meditative exercise that I want to share with you that I think helps also with the notion that what we're seeking to do is embody what we're seeking in consciousness, not just understand it, have some analytical understanding of it. So you may need to push your chair back a little bit from your computer. I don't know how much space you have, but It's even possible if you want to stand up. This is the kind of process that works even best when you're outside, but inside works as well. So first, take a moment to close your eyes and again, focus your attention with your breathing so that that's what you're feeling. You're feeling your breathing in your body, and the thinking mind, although it may still, most likely is still active, is less of the focus of what you're experiencing. Your experience is shifting towards a direct awareness of sensations in your body as you breathe, as your chest moves, as your shoulders move, as the air comes in and out your nose. Just feel that for a moment. So that we're cultivating a little bit more of that sense of mindful attention, no judgment, just being aware of whatever it is that you feel and sense. Okay, so now take your hands and arms and stretch them straight up above your head. If that's uncomfortable for you, it doesn't look like it. If you have a bad shoulder or something, just go as far as is comfortable so that your hands are pointed, palms are somewhat pointed upward, tilted upward. And just take a moment to open consciously to what it is that's above you at this time. Right through the ceiling and roof of your home. The moon, the sun, the stars, what we call the heavens. And just let a sense of that pour into your hands, pour down into your hands. A feeling of that. And you can also think of whatever it is that you think is above you as an egoic personality. That which is higher consciousness, the divine, the heavens, spirit, whatever it is, nature herself, gods and goddesses, just angels, devas, and then turn your hands downward and just have them face your face. If you want to, you can touch your face, but mainly bring that energy of that which is above into your thinking mind so that your thoughts are a little bit more attuned to that higher consciousness. Then bring your hands down a little ways, down to in front of your heart area. Remember last week, the time we met, we did a meditation with the 3 chambers. This is the heart chamber, and just let that heavenly energy come down and be in your heart so that you feel that which you're tuning into. Feel it in an emotional quality sense, in a heart sense. What is it that we're bringing into this world? Love, compassion, the beauty. And then bring your hands further down to where they're right in front of or touching your abdomen and pelvic area. And let it pour into that part of your body, this part of your body that is where a lot of our reflexive, instinctual consciousness is, including some of our oldest habits and conditioning. So we're opening this to the higher consciousness above the heavens. Okay, and then I want to ask you to lean forward and point your hands down towards the ground. If you're comfortable with it, if you're a good yogi, you might be able to actually touch your hands to the ground. I'm not going to bend over that far because I want my voice to go to the computer. But pointing your hands downward, and it's sort of as if you send your awareness down, deep into the earth, deep into Mother Earth, through the outer layers and deep to the center, into what is the heart of Mother Earth. And just think and let that energy, that consciousness, it's the Earth's consciousness that we want to be attuned to, and we want to serve, and we want to be helpful to. And then bring that up, bring your hands up, bring your body up. And again, bring the Earth's energy, Mother Earth's energy, into the head area. So that we maybe are a little bit more attuned to know what it is we need to do in relationship to the Mother Earth, to nature. Bring your hands down to your heart. Open ourselves to feel in our hearts the truth of the Earth's love for us, and nurturance of us. And down, bring your hands down to the belly, pelvic area. And again, let this very, very important chamber of your mind, of your consciousness, feel here the Earth's intention. And we align our intentions, head, heart, gut, to the intentions of the heavens and the earth. So that's a practice I just wanted to share with you that you can do anytime. As I said, it's really wonderful when you can do it outside and you actually have the sky up there. You can feel and see and bring the actual earth, grasses, and so forth below your feet. Just on the note of doing a meditation, I'm thinking of, if people are interested in, on the alternate weeks from the webinar, actually doing a half-hour just meditation, no lectures or talking or even dyads, just meditation. It would be so that would be next Monday. And I think I'll do it, and I'll put out a notice about it, and whoever comes will come. That would be wonderful to see you with that, in that kind of space. So I just remembered I was going to share with you, just as a quick reminder. Oh, I can't share, looks like. I'm disabled. So I'll skip that. I had a big sign, said intention, like a road sign, just as a reminder. But I wanted to say something about what the intention of this webinar is. I find it very helpful. Keep remembering intentions. And the title of it is Staying Sane. And clearly the reason we even resonate to the idea of staying sane is because something really troubling has been happening, and we're feeling that troubling inside ourselves. I always know I'm walking on thin ice if I try to talk for everybody, but I'm really speaking for myself and for people who have contacted me. I mean, the fever pitch of emotionality about what's happening in the world just seems to be rising. And of course, a lot of it is aimed at, and I think there's a lot we could talk about regarding that, at November 3rd, the election. It's, I think, important to understand and to help other people understand that it's much more long-term than November 3rd, and that even the expectation that, well, it's all going to be over, we'll go back to normal and everything's going to be fine, is really probably a pipe dream. But whatever it is that's going to happen afterward, we need sanity. We need to have a healthy mind, a healthy body. And what we're talking about when we really talk about being troubled is it's the waters, the element water, the emotional realm is I think really needs to be a primary focus. When we get into things with people politically, we tend to be in the head. We tend to argue facts and data and history and what we think, this opinion and that opinion and this research project and that research project. And it doesn't get to people, it doesn't change people's minds. And it's really not what motivates you or me. What really motivates us is an emotional reality, more than emotions, but it's a heart-centered reality that we care. We, to put it in even a bigger word, we love. And what our love wants to do is help people lift from suffering, to awaken out of confusion, and to love one another. So that the emotional realm is, I think, really a very, very important place for us to focus, because that's where we're also feeling troubled. And we need to look at, well, what can we do about that? How can we work with the experience that we're having? We're kicked around by our own feelings. And I'll give an example. The other day, it was actually a week or more ago, I wanted to take a walk that I often do. It's a mile walk kind of around our neighborhood. And now the signs are starting to go up. And, so I'm taking this walk, I'm saying, I need a break. I was working on the computer. I want to look at the trees. We have a lake over here. It's really beautiful. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to walk mindfully. And it's going to just be a good experience to sort of recenter myself. And I get 2 houses down, and the man who I know put up his Trump sign, which he had 4 years ago. And he hadn't had it up, and I was thinking, I hope he doesn't put it up. I don't know, what am I going to do if he puts up that Trump sign? He's actually my insurance man. I get insurance from him. Well, so I pass the house, and my first idea is, okay, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to be in peace. I'm going to look at the trees. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to be mindful. I'm a meditation teacher. And I take a few more steps, and in my mind it's going like, that stupid son of a God, well, how could he? And I'm thinking of things I could say to him and should say to him, and I'm going to quit, having him take care of my insurance, and keep going, come back to meditating, come back. So after about a mile, I was pretty much able, that takes about 20 minutes the way I'm walking, to get myself calm, get myself feeling a little bit like putting it in perspective, and saying, okay, I don't have to do anything with him right now. I'm going to wait and see. And I think what I really my best wisdom is have a conversation with him about this whole thing after the election. There's nothing I can do to change his mind about his vote. He's been with this guy for over 4 years. Whatever is going on in his head, maybe I just want to understand it. Whatever it is he's actually feeling, maybe I really want to try to have empathy for him. He's my neighbor. I know he does good things in the community. You know, so it took me a mile, and I had to recognize first that I was angry. That I feel is really the first step. And how many of you have seen, you know, that chart that shows like about 100 different kinds of little faces? It was before emojis. This was the original emojis, you know, and it has a happy face and a sad face and an interested face and a curious face. It's to educate, and what it says at the title of that sheet is, what am I, what does it say? What am I feeling? Are you aware of how you are feeling now? And that's a great question, I think, for anybody on both as an activist and as a spiritual seeking person. Are you aware of what you are feeling now? Because when I'm arguing in my head with this person, I'm not really aware of what I'm feeling. And when I'm aware of what I'm feeling, I begin to get a little bit of disengagement and detachment from that feeling. I'm less lost in it. It may be for a moment even more painful, but that's the road to letting it not have control over us, is to let it go all the way through us and out the other side. So Joanna Macy and John Seed, another person from New Zealand, eco-activist, a wonderful eco-activist, used to do these workshops called Despair and Empowerment. They found that by helping people to just go all the way into their rage, all the way into their despair, all the way into their fear, they tended to somehow have a kind of catharsis, but to do it in a mindful ritual where it was held in a safe and non-judgmental space. And people came out of these workshops having been more or less depressed by what's going on in the world to feeling more empowered to do something about. So that's why they call it despair to empowerment, or despair and empowerment. So I wanted to read something to you that comes from the poet Rumi, who writes about feelings and accepting our feelings without judgment. And it's called The Guest House. Some of you, I'm quite sure, have seen this. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows, who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Welcome and entertain them all. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So if it's true, if there's truth in that, if it resonates to you in some way, then these feelings that are being triggered in us by what's going on, by Trump and the alt-right and media. They're somehow for us a message that we can take in to use for our own awakening and for our own motivation to do what needs to be done to make the world a better place. So I wanted to take more time today to have you be able to talk with each other. It looks like a smaller group, but we could have maybe groups of 3 or so. And what I want to ask you to talk with each other about is, what have you been feeling? What can you acknowledge about the feelings that have been coming up for you? Just 1, 2, 3 feelings, whatever they may be. And how's it going? How are you relating to them? I want to give one more teaching about working with emotions that someone I interviewed from my book, Crossing the Boundary, Isaac Shapiro, helps people with. And what he says is like, think of the words, I'm sad, or I'm angry. When you say that, when you say those words that way, I'm angry, it's as though you're identifying I with anger. The I and the anger are kind of like one thing. And that's how it feels generally when we're really, really angry. It feels like there is no separation. Then he says, see how it feels when you say, I am feeling angry. I am feeling angry. Just notice that there's a different feeling to it. And I think that's because the I is having an experience of something we call anger, but the I is not the anger. You are not the anger. So just by using those words, it kind of helps you take a little step back. Now, taking a step even further back would be something like, anger is happening in me. So the I, or the me, is really a self that's recognizing, that's aware of, and that's not lost in by any means, this phenomenon of anger. Anger is arising in me. It can sound a little artificial to kind of change languaging like that, but it's worth exploring and experimenting with. I've found it to be really helpful. It goes along with, of course, a meditation experience which allows us to recognize that the true self is never lost in any of these emotions. But it's helpful to recognize that sometimes we feel like we are. And so I wanted to give you some time now to talk with each other, share what's in your heart. Another friend who I interviewed for the book Crossing the Boundary is Marty Lowenthal, and he teaches to think in terms of your heart posture. What's your heart posture? When you ask that question, are you aware of how you are feeling now? You could say, are you aware of your heart posture? How is it standing? Is it askance? Is it balanced? Is it strong? Is it open? So Brent, you want to break up into the groups? Wait, can you hear me now?
Hear you.
I keep unmuting myself.
Yeah, Alan, can you get any additional volume? Or
For me? You're having trouble hearing me?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a little bit. Yeah,
Okay, I'll just talk a little bit louder.
good.
Move in toward the mic a little more.
Yeah,
So, how about now? We're good? Yeah. So welcome back. I hope that was your meeting with a couple of other people was as wonderful as mine. I think now maybe we'll take some time to hear from anyone. You can do that by waving your hand and then unmuting yourself if we point it, I can't point at you, but I'll call your name just so that we know who's going to talk next. Any thoughts, any feelings? People are okay? Go ahead, unmute yourself, Jackie.
So I'm actually Jackie's sister. Jackie was here and then she
Okay.
left, and so I'm the other half.
Yes,
And,
right.
and I just feel so much better. I feel like I feel as if I have been unburdened a little bit, and it feels really good. It was nice to talk with like-minded people. I think I had a lot to get off of my chest about what's going on these days. So, but it was just such a nice, safe little group. It was very sweet. It was very sweet, and I feel like I have some of the burden that I've been feeling has been lifted a little bit.
That's great. That's great to hear. Anyone else? Reflections on the feelings that were shared or that you feel?
Alan?
Yeah,
Dorothy? Hi. I'm just feeling frustrated because there have been so many elections where I have been voting, and I'm always voting for the lesser of two evils. And it's the system change of so many systems that I live in and we live in that is so slow. And I think this is just another exacerbation of, you know, two millionaires running against each other and pounding each other rather than promoting good as they're trying to get elected. So I'm just wishing that the system could change. Even the Electoral College, people have been upset with that, but there hasn't seemed to be any movement in doing away with that. So yeah, I'm just frustrated with many systems, and this is one of the many that go through every election season.
Mm-hmm.
No. Frustration. You're not alone in the sense of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that too. That it's a two-party system that doesn't allow for anything better, but I do feel the hope that once Biden is in position, we can not manipulate him, but send him in a more progressive, and healthy direction.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's accomplished.
Mm-hmm. So that's a hope. I just want to point out the feelings in these statements, which sometimes are really ideas about the situation. There's frustration, there's hope. And because if you honor that feeling of hope, that's real. That's something that you feel.
Well, I didn't mention that hopeful was not one of the feelings that I have been feeling, but actually, to kind of piggyback on what Dorothy was saying, I do feel hopeful about younger people coming into the system, going into politics, and I'm hoping that they're going to shake things up.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, it seems like the only hope right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that Terry? Terry?
I'm curious about, this is the first time I've heard or that I'm aware of hearing about the head, the heart, the gut. And it really resonates for me.
Mm.
So much of my orientation in self-help or therapy or whatever worlds, all the worlds colliding, which all say the same thing, be here now. but um, I get confused with my orientation is, okay, so you feel this, but now you've been given a brain. What do you think about it? And I find that sometimes in this world, which I'm relatively new to, the meditating and trying to learn that, which is I love, I'm loving and learning. Where does that come in?
Where does what come in? I'm not sure.
Thinking. So if
Oh, thinking.
if you listen to your feelings, it's like letting a 3-year-old run your business. If you act on all your feelings, you would go to the bathroom on the floor. You would do whatever you felt like whenever you felt it. So don't we have a brain to look at that and then think about that? And I find that's not something that is talked about in meditation, or I'm missing it somehow. That's all. I just
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And I think the reason that we have the 3 chambers is because they're all important. So you don't want just the feeling that you have, even if it's a wonderful, beautiful feeling, to kind of run the whole show. You do have to have knowledge and understanding and intellect, but that by itself is sort of like a computer mind. A computer mind doesn't have the quality of love. It doesn't have the quality of emotionality that humans have access to, and that is such a vital part of it. And it doesn't have the deeper wisdom as well. So all three are important. That's why it's really just an experiential process to bring your attention down and just, it also, it's kind of stressful to just relate to the world just from the head.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
No.
Absolutely, I agree with that. The chatter.
Knots, yeah.
How do you train your head to be quiet and yet still think?
Yeah. Well, that'll, I think
That's
I'm going to pass
meditation.
on answering any more of those because, until maybe when we do the meditation, that'll become clearer.
Okay.
So, but I'm just interested to hear, and if some other people want to just share the feelings that you're getting in touch with, the feelings that you're going through in this time. I think it's just helpful. But if not, that's okay. Just one more, throwing one more line out there if there's anyone who wants to share anything.
May I speak even though I've missed the first half? It's Julie Weiner.
Oh yeah, hi Julie.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah. So you missed all of the beginning until the break, until we came back from the break?
Yes.
Okay.
I just came on.
Well, maybe
if you want me to wait, I'll wait, but I see that you were talking about.
Yeah, just tell us how you've been feeling.
Being. A great mix of hopeful because of all the activist organizing going on. I just came from a call with people with some of the deepest knowledge about the ongoing attempts at an electoral coup for the last 20 years, who have also been filing lawsuits like crazy for the past 20 years to try and protect the integrity of our elections, and have been, you know, a lot of the reforms that have taken place in voting systems have taken place as a result of those lawsuits, and they're still recruiting people all over the country to poll watch and to take pictures of poll tapes so that we can prevent the hacking of the election. So I'm very hopeful with how many people are activists and how many people are getting involved in the election protection. Consolidation going on among all the groups that want to make sure that the election is safely and accurately counted and that the votes count in determining who's the president. And also quite terrified. The possibility that if there aren't enough people on the streets, and if there aren't enough people whose votes are accurately counted, and if there aren't enough people allowed to vote, I keep hearing about 20 different versions of Trump's plan to carry out a coup, and to consolidate the coup. So it's quite a frightening moment in our history. And I just am praying that everybody who is trying to vote gets to vote, and praying that everybody who plans to be active from now until 2 months after Election Day is going to really be willing to commit everything to this battle.
Mm-hmm.
I see this as really dire life and death fight for even human survival.
I
So
agree with you.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. So in order to kind of complete our hour, I want to come back to our choice to focus attention, at least some of the time, and that time can be now, on our deep, deep, deep inner self, nature, the core of our being. And by doing that, it's not avoiding seeing the reality that Julie just spoke about, or the possibilities that Julie just spoke about. I think that's when we get into what's called spiritual bypass, when we actually are putting our head in the sand, or we're putting our head somehow in the heavens, but we're not allowing ourselves to really see what's happening here on earth, and what's happening inside ourselves. Because I think anybody that isn't experiencing some of these emotions that we've been talking about, the fear, the frustration, or anger, to put it more directly, sometimes the guilt at thinking you're not doing enough. I think anyone who's not feeling some of those things isn't paying attention. But it doesn't mean we have to be stuck in them. We do have this choice to shift our attention and move into a different state of consciousness. So I want to just remind us, by lighting the candle, of the fire of the sun. Get it up here where it's burning. The sun in the sky. The fire of the passion that we have to make this world a better place, to be the people that we want to be, that we want to see in the world. Those two core intentions, what we want to do in this world and what we want to be in this world. And the fire that helps us to burn away the old habits and the old fears, really. It's natural to have fear arise, and yet it's possible to not cling to it, to not get stuck in it, to not get lost in it. And one of the things that helps me a lot, besides meditation, is to go into nature, to spend time in nature. And last week I read something by Thomas Berry. While I was Googling around to find Thomas Berry, I found Wendell Berry, and he's also an amazingly beautiful writer that speaks to us about ourselves, our consciousness, and also our relationship to the natural world. And here's just a great line that I think is helpful for us at this time. Whether we and our politicians know it or not, nature is party to all our deals and decisions, and she has more votes, a longer memory, and a sterner sense of justice than we do. That's Wendell Berry. I'll say it again because it's nice and short and to the point. Whether we and our politicians know it or not, nature is party to all our deals and decisions, and she has more votes, a longer memory, and a sterner sense of justice than we do. So take this moment just to feel inside yourself, your breath, how you take in the air from the ocean of air around this beautiful planet, and how you breathe it out. exchanging with especially the plant world. Open to the possibility of feeling, sensing, knowing, being already free, already okay, the one that you truly are. All around, all throughout your body, and all around and all throughout each person that you meet. And when we say namaste, which has become, a kind of a cute greeting that people do, almost like a handshake now, it's good to remember the essential meaning of that, which is to place your hands together in balance, balancing the two, the yin and the yang of yourself, and opening to the true nature of your being, the compassionate one that you are, and greeting the compassionate one, the true being in each being that you encounter. So I say to you, namaste, blessings. I hope to see you in 2 weeks, which is the day before the election, in case that particular day has a lot of meaning to you. And as Julie said, and others have said, it's really a long-range process, even after that day. But it is a kind of pivotal day, and I have a feeling that the emotional wave, possibly reaching panic proportions in some people, will be rising, and we need to be kind. We need to be open. We need to let ourselves ride through this one, because we're going to need our strength on November 4th and 5th and 6th and December and January and February and so on. So be well, my friends. Namaste.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Brent.
you. Thank you.